Good morning, folks. I'm getting ready to go fishing for about 5 hours. This is the day after the BFL. Shout out to Greg for letting us stay at his place. Awesome dude, man. Very generous. It's right on the lake. That's his dock down there. And him and Mike, so Mike and Greg are fishing the Anglers in Action team tournament today. They're out on the water. They left early this morning. I slept in. I got everything packed, kind of watched a little TV. It's about 10 o'clock. It's super cold out here. 36 degrees. I think the humidity is like 80%. There's a breeze out here. I mean, it's sub-freezing, you know, with the wind chill and all that figured in. I got about 5 hours. There's a jerkbait bite going on in the lake right now. So I'm going to go and try to locate some jerkbait fish. I didn't get to fish a jerkbait much yesterday in the tournament because my boater Chris, great guy, he was covering a lot of water with the wiggle wart. So wasn't able to fish a jerkbait a whole lot. So I'm going to go out on the water here. Greg was nice enough to let me use his boat. It's on a slip down here. It's actually on a lift. I'm getting ready to go walk down here and I've already got all my stuff in here, but I'm going to walk down here and drop the lift and get on the lake. I'll show you how that works too.
He's out of Jackson, Missouri. His name is Gabe Montgomery on the Coiner side.
That's a fat one there. Look at that. Looks like it's still got eggs in it.
How about fifth place? Just over $1,000. They had 1961. Greg Glenn and Gabe Montgomery. Good job, guys.
That didn't take long. Another punch. Good. Got one. Oh. Good. Yeah. Yep. Look at that, boys and girls. Jig in the mouth. Nice fat keeper. Lake of the Ozarks 2019 Anglers in Action. Here's Greg's boat. Here's the lift. Lift's pretty straightforward. It's got this lift system right here. And that is to lower the boat down. That is to raise it up once you come in. It's got all those ropes tied on there, so I got to take that nose hook rope off, and I got these side ropes that I got to take off. Basically, you just get all your stuff in there, push that button, jump in the boat, and back out. And on the way in, you kind of get it centered up, hit up, and those pontoons fill up with air. I guess that's what they do, and it lifts your boat up, keeps it out of the water. It's a pretty sweet setup. So let's get out on the water, see if we can catch some jerkbait fish. It's time to go fishing, boys and girls. we go, folks. I mean, nice little jerkbait fish. It's got to be throwing something kind of loud as far as color wise, because this water's really stained right now. But that's a nice fish. I wish I would have had him yesterday. That would definitely would have won in the box. Nice Ozark Lake keeper. Not a huge fish, but definitely would have helped. So happy to have this. It's cold out here. My nose is running. Right now the fish seem to be in the back part of these pockets and stuff. I don't know. I'm just kind of hunting around trying to figure it all out. But there you go. On the board. Back-to-back casts. That's a little guy, but threw back in that same spot I just caught that last one. Just kind of jerking it and letting it sit for 3 or 4 seconds. You don't have to let it sit that long. And your line just kind of moves off. Those last 2 fish, the line just kind of got heavy when I went to jerk it again. That's all you're getting. Water temp is like 43 degrees, so it's still pretty cold. And we saw temperatures about 48 degrees 2 days ago. So it's dropped quite a bit. These fish are a little bit sluggish. Just got to work a little hard to get them. You know, with side scan, you see all kinds of crazy stuff on the bottom of the lake, especially when there's docks around. Here's a, looks like a piece of a dock or something that's floated and drifted on the bottom. Check this out. It's pretty cool, pretty detailed image. Guys, some guy's shooting a gun, man. It's kind of scary. Fishing this little back of this pocket. Some dude is hammering out rounds up there. I'm glad he's shooting into the hillside because nothing's skipping across the water. Scared the crap out of me though. Just real quiet and all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam. Little guy. Hey, it counts though. I'm getting nervous, man. There's guys shooting over here. Another fish, folks, amongst all the gunfire and mayhem. Just gotta fish really slow and be patient for these jerkbait fish, but pick one up every once in a while. Having a great day out here. You know, you gotta bounce around a lot on this lake. It's a big, big lake. Thousands and thousands of docks, thousands and thousands of coves. And you gotta figure out what kind of area you think the fish are in. And just run to a little cove or pocket, idle to the back, idle back out. If you see something that looks right, stop and fish it. If you don't, move on to the next one. Just kind of covering water that way. And that's just kind of the way I've been approaching it. So far, I've caught a few nice fish this morning. I got about, I got about an hour, 2 hours left. I'm gonna jump around, try to hit about 4 or 5 more coves and pockets and see if I can come up with some fish. But it's just about bouncing around and looking at stuff. Instead of getting lazy and just fishing a whole cove. If you catch a fish in a certain area, run to the next cove and see if you can duplicate that pattern. Oh, catfish. Check that out, guys. I just saw a school of shad out here on the side scan and made a cast out to the middle of his pocket, and that sucker grabbed it. You never know what you're going to catch on a jerkbait. Another nice keeper. Barely keeper, but another jerkbait fish. Lake of the Ozarks. This is fun. Water's still like 42, 43 degrees. Put this guy back in the water. You know, one thing I'm kind of learning about this lake, I haven't fished it much, but these fish are related to certain kinds of rock, and Greg kind of keyed me in on that this morning. So you gotta run around and look for certain types of banks right now, and they seem to be back on the flatter stuff at the moment. So fishing these kind of smaller rocks, seems like that's where I'm getting these bites at. I'm gonna keep on pecking around and see if I can try to put this pattern together. Only got about 2 hours more to fish. You know, that last fish I caught was right off the corner of a dock, and the bait was just sitting there, and the fish actually smashed it, hit it, started coming towards me. I had to chase it down. It swam underneath the boat. Pretty good fight. So they're starting to wake up. Spring's getting real close. These fish are starting to make their way back to their spawning areas. If you've never been to Lake of the Ozarks, it is full of docks. 50, 60,000 docks, maybe more. And Mike told me it has more shoreline than the state of California, or state of Florida. So lots of places to fish, but one of the things you key on when you find the right area are docks. And with this jerkbait, I'm just keying in on the corner, like the front corners and the back corners, and then fishing the bank in between. So if you look at this dock right here, that would be a front corner. You got another corner over here, and if you can see on this other dock over here, there's your back corners. So you're going back corner and then your front corner, and then you're going to fish the gaps in between. That's basically how I'm approaching this jerkbait fishing today. Now later on in the spring, when the fish begin to spawn, a lot of guys will fish the backs of the docks and the little walkways underneath, and then skip jigs. You see underneath this pontoon boat, they'll skip a jig all the way along that float, or along this float, and just get it back in there as far as they can. And those fish a lot of times are, especially in the post spawn or the pre-spawn, they'll stage on these docks and they'll wait to move up under these walkways. And so skipping a jig around this stuff is a way to generate a lot of bites. Caught me a small fish. Happy to have them. If you haven't been to Lake of the Ozarks, come out here and check it out. It's a great place to fish. Fish are just starting to move back. Water's actually warmed up to about 47 degrees. You know, the jerkbait is a great winter bait to be thrown. It really comes to play, you know, all throughout the winter, but it gets real good right before the fish move back to spawn. That's kind of what's going on out here. Managed to catch a few nice fish today. Hey, appreciate you guys coming along on this little adventure I've got. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share it on your social media and Facebook pages. And until next time.